Get to work informed with Larry Richert and John Shumway and the KDKA Morning News. Right now, News Radio 1020 KDKA.
642, this is KDKA. I'm Larry Richert.
And I'm John Shumway. It can happen anywhere, but right now the focus is on the North Hills and North Boroughs, a supposed serial rapist at work.
Yeah, someone attacked at the Woodhawk Apartments, then the Cascade Apartments, not too far down the road, and obviously that leaves a lot of anxiety, and especially for women in this case. So what can they do realistically to defend themselves? We're joined by Sam Rosenberg, who is the Impact's founder, a United States Marine, trained here and also graduate of the University of Pittsburgh. Sam, good morning.
Good morning.
Sam, in a couple of these cases, and especially the one at Cascade, the woman went out and actually saw this person as she was leaving, I believe it was to go walk a dog, and saw the person and wondered about them. Right there, I mean, is there something that you should do if you see someone who just doesn't look like they're in the right place?
Oh, absolutely. When you look at these types of situations or any violent crime situation, what you have to understand first and foremost is the psychology of that predator, what their motivations are, what they're looking for, and how they go about their business. If you understand the process of the way the bad guys think, it completely defines in many ways how you would prepare yourself or how you would respond or take preventative action. One of the most important characteristics of all bad guys is that, you have to understand that violence is almost never random. Even the most desperate criminal is very careful in how they select their targets. And they're very careful in a very particular way. They're not looking for competition. They're not looking for a hard target. They're not looking for someone who could fight back or pose a threat. And they're fundamentally looking to choose the time and the place and the target and to such a degree that it will limit their exposure to failure, to being caught, to being, thwarted in whatever it is that they intend to do. And one of the most careful things that they do, one of the most fundamental things, whether you're dealing with a serial rapist, whether you're dealing with someone who's just going to mug someone or even a terrorist, is what we call target selection. So in the target selection phase of a bad guy's operating mechanism, which is the first phase of a four-phase process, they typically surveil their target. They observe, they take a look at, they see if someone, looks like a potentially good victim, and they carefully observe them. The second phase is that they go on to what we call intelligence gathering or interviewing. Sometimes they'll approach the target, ask for some change, ask for the time, start a conversation to see how they react and how they conduct that interview. But very often, what they do is if they identify that someone leaves their house with the door open or there's an obvious opportunity, they'll simply seize on that opportunity to position themselves where they can take full advantage of it. So on the defense, the most important characteristic of anyone who is going to protect themselves is situational awareness to such a degree that you're paying attention to cues, you're listening to your instincts, and you're effectively heeding those warnings so that when you identify a potential out-of-place individual or something that gives you an early warning sign in your gut, that you heed that and you take appropriate measures.
So if you feel like it's not right, then it may not be, and trust your instincts.
And these incidents occurred at an unusual time, many people would think, in the morning hours when there might be potentially a lot of people walking around.
Exactly. And the problem is that logic would interfere with the instinct. So, in other words, we tend to start to override a gut reaction by saying, well, it's 10:30 in the morning, it's or whatever it is, it's rush hour, there's lots of people around. But the reality is that violent crime can happen anywhere at any time, and you have a very powerful early warning system.
Okay, Sam, let me interrupt you because our time's going to be fairly short here.
Sure.
You identify that something doesn't feel right. Now, Larry had mentioned, and we've talked about this, that apparently there are people who are buying pepper sprays and these kinds of things. Is that the right way to go about this? Should you be armed going out the door, or what do you do?
Well, what I always believe in is that you should be ready, willing, and able to defend yourself, because fundamentally that's, personal security is an individual responsibility, and you need to be prepared. I don't necessarily think that pepper spray is a bad idea. I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily the end-all solution to everything, nor is purchasing a firearm. Without the requisite training and understanding of how the situations can go down and what to do about it, any particular tool can fall short. The basic mentality is we look at it as 3 Ds, the 3 things you can do. The first thing is you want to deny opportunity. You want to try and lock your doors, take necessary precautions, heed your instincts. The second thing is that you want to be able to deter a bad guy's actions. So having a strong sense of awareness, being ready and willing to defend yourself, being aware generally is a very powerful deterrent in and of itself.
All right, and
then
3?
The final D is to be able to defend yourself. And if that means that the best thing you can do is buy pepper spray and be ready to use it, that's a good thing because your awareness is up.
All right, now you have a free opportunity on Tuesday, a seminar?
Yes, we're going to be hosting a personal security training workshop called an Empower class on Tuesday, January 17th in the North Hills. And it's free to anybody who wants to attend. We have limited space. We're limited to about 40 participants, so registration's required.
And the way to go to get info?
Yeah, the way to go to get info is basically you can reach us via the web at livewithconfidence.com. Livewithconfidence.com,
and we'll put a link on KDKRadio.com.
Thank you very much, John.
Yeah, Sam, great information. Too good information, too little time. But we appreciate you jumping on with us this morning. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
648 at KDKA, News Radio 1020. KDKA on the web, we'll have that link for you.